Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You see, everyone talks about success, everyone dreams of it, but the hard truth is very few people are truly willing to train their brain for it. The brain, as powerful as it is, behaves much like a muscle. If you treat it gently, if you only give it simple, easy tasks, it gets lazy, it becomes weak and comfortable. But, and here's the real secret, if you force your brain to wrestle with challenges, to work hard on difficult problems, it becomes stronger. One day, it will give you the power to do things you once thought impossible. Think back to when I started Alibaba. We had nothing, no money, no technology, no national or international experience. What we did have was our brains and our belief, our unshakable faith. And believe me, our brains were screaming out loud, "This is too hard. This is impossible." But what would have happened if we listened to those screams and stopped? Nothing. No Alibaba, no breakthroughs. So let me say this clearly to you now, if you don't do the hard things today, you will regret it tomorrow. People often ask me, "Jack, how do I become successful? How do I become strong?" And my answer is always the same. The secret is simple, but it's not easy. You must train yourself to live with discomfort every single day. Because most people wake up and immediately chase comfort. They want the soft bed, the easy job, the predictable life. But here is the truth, comfort is the enemy of growth. It is the slow death of ambition, the quiet killer of dreams. If you only do what feels pleasant, your brain will never become ready to handle the tough battles waiting for you in your future. Let me share with you a story from Alibaba's early days. We worked from a tiny, cramped apartment. There was no air conditioning, no proper chairs, not even a desk big enough to hold all our hopes. It was uncomfortable. Sometimes unbearably uncomfortable. But that discomfort was our classroom, it was where we trained ourselves. Later, when we faced fierce competition, dreadful failures, and harsh criticism, our brains did not break or freeze. They were ready. Because we had spent years living in discomfort, we had trained our brains like athletes train their bodies. Now, training yourself to live with discomfort doesn't mean you suffer without reason. No. It means you choose the harder option on purpose, knowing it will make you stronger. If it is easier to stay in bed, wake up earlier. If it is easier to avoid reading, then push yourself to read an extra chapter. If it is easier to give up on an idea, then force yourself to take one more step toward it. Every time you do this, you send a powerful message to your brain, "I am in control, not you." Slowly but surely, your brain becomes tougher, sharper, and more reliable. The world doesn't reward those who avoid pain. It rewards those who can manage pain. So ask yourself, if you cannot train your brain to handle discomfort now, how will you handle rejection later? How will you cope with failure? How will you manage the risks life throws at you? Life is a marathon of discomfort. But if you practice endurance every single day, when the big challenge comes, you will not collapse. Instead, you will smile and say, "I've been waiting for this moment." When things go wrong, and they will in life, most people's first reaction is to ask, "Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I so unlucky?" That reaction is normal, but it is also dangerous. It makes your brain the victim of your circumstances. It gives your brain permission to complain instead of create. I have seen too many talented young people waste their best years living in this mindset, asking, "Why me?" every time they face a challenge, every time they hit a wall. But friends, listen carefully. Life is not fair. Success does not come from waiting for fairness. When I was rejected from dozens of jobs, even from KFC, I could have sat down and wallowed in, "Why me?" But instead, I asked, "Why not me? Why can't I build something new, something that no one believes in?" That shift, that simple but profound change in how I talk to myself, forced my brain to stop searching for excuses and start searching for solutions. When you start to ask, "Why not?" instead of, "Why me?" your brain begins a remarkable transformation. It becomes hungry for possibilities. It becomes creative, bold, and fearless. You stop seeing walls, you start seeing doors. Every problem turns from a block into an opportunity. Every time you face difficulty, you have two choices: complain or challenge. If you complain, your brain shuts down. If you challenge, your brain wakes up. It starts working harder, thinking differently, pushing you forward. That's how innovations are born, how businesses grow, and how ordinary people do extraordinary things. So don't waste your energy blaming the world for its unfairness. Don't waste your time comparing your struggles to others. Instead, train your brain to ask the better question. When an opportunity looks too big, ask, why not me? When a problem looks impossible, ask, why not us? This attitude trains your brain to be fearless. And a fearless brain is the strongest tool you can ever own. Remember, success is never built on one dramatic heroic act. It's built on thousands of small, hardy choices that nobody sees. Many young people dream of doing something great, something legendary. But they forget greatness isn't a single moment, it's the sum of mastering the small difficult things in everyday life. The small hard things. Waking up earlier than you want to. Finishing a task even when tired. Reading a book instead of scrolling on your phone. These small steps are the bricks in the foundation of a strong, unshakable mind. When I was young, my English was terrible. But I forced myself to do the small hard thing every day. I woke up early, rode my bicycle to a hotel, and talked with foreigners, for free. It was awkward, tiring, and frustrating. But those small steps gave me confidence, communication skills, and the courage to think on an international scale. By the time I was building Alibaba, my brain was already trained to face the bigger challenges because I had spent years exercising with the smaller ones. The problem for many is they want big results without the small effort. They desire success but they fear pain. But life doesn't work this way. If you can't conquer yourself in the little things, you will collapse when the big test comes. The small hard things prepare your brain like weights in a gym. Every repetition makes you stronger. Every small victory tells your brain, I can do this. I can push further. One day, without even realizing it, you will carry loads that once seemed impossible. Never underestimate the power of the small, hard things. They appear boring and insignificant, but they are the secret training ground of champions. If you want to achieve something great, don't wait for a big opportunity to appear. Create discipline in the little moments because success is not about a giant leap forward. It's about the millions of small steps your brain is trained to take every day. The people around you shape the way your brain thinks, whether you know it or not. If you spend your time with complainers, slowly your brain becomes one of them. Complainers always find excuses. They blame others and endlessly talk about why things can't be done. Their words sound harmless, but they poison your brain. After enough time, you start to believe success is impossible, risk is dangerous, and failure is shameful. You start shrinking your dreams without even noticing. But surround yourself with fighters. And I don't mean fighters in the literal sense of physical combat, I mean people who refuse to give up. Fighters see a problem and immediately start looking for a way forward. They don't waste time complaining. They focus on action. Their energy is contagious. When you spend time with fighters, your brain begins to mirror their strength. You start thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? When I was building Alibaba, many people told me, Jack, this idea will never work in China. You're wasting your time. If I had listened to those voices, I would have quit in the first year. But luckily, I had a small group of fighters around me. We had no money, no experience, but we shared one spirit: no one quits. When one person felt weak, the others lifted him up. That's how we survived. When thousands of other companies died, we lived on, not because we were the smartest, but because we were fighters together. Your brain is like a sponge. If it soaks in negative voices, it becomes heavy and weak. But if it soaks in determination and courage, it becomes sharp and powerful. That's why you must be very careful. Who are you spending your time with? Are they making your brain stronger, or are they making it weaker? Are they filling you with energy, or draining it? If you want to go far, find people who fight for their dreams. Find people who push through obstacles, who don't quit after the first failure. Stand with them. Work with them. Learn from them. Their fire will light your fire. Their courage will train your courage. And in the hardest moments, when your brain wants to quit, the fighters beside you will remind you that quitting is not an option. The truth about life is this: the easy things are crowded. Everyone wants shortcuts. Everyone wants quick wins. Everyone wants a smooth road. And that's why, when you choose the easy path, you face the toughest competition. Millions of people are fighting for the same small rewards, the same shortcuts. And in the end, most walk away empty-handed. But when you choose the hard path, the crowd disappears. Most people turn back when the road gets tough. That road may look lonely, but that is exactly where the real opportunity lies. When I started Alibaba, the idea of building an internet company in China was considered crazy. Nobody believed it could work. The internet is for America, they said, not for us. It was too hard, too uncertain. But because it was hard, we had a chance. The big companies didn't want to risk the unknown, so we had space to grow. The harder the challenge, the fewer people willing to compete, and that means more room for you to build something valuable. When you face a hard problem, don't run away. Smile and think, good. This means fewer people will be here. This means I am closer to something big. Hardship is a filter. It separates those who are serious from those who are just dreaming. If you can train your brain to push through that filter, you will find yourself standing where only a few dare to go, and that's where success is born. So, my friends, the next time something feels too hard, don't complain. Don't quit. Remind yourself that the very hardness of the task is your greatest opportunity. While the world chases the easy things, you will be quietly building strength in the difficult ones. And when the results come, people will look at you with surprise and say, "How did you do it?" Your answer will be simple. You went where others refused to go. Life will never get easier, but you can get stronger. Force your brain to do hard things every day. Train it, nurture it, challenge it. One day, when asked, "How did you do it?" you'll smile because you know the truth: the brain you built is your biggest treasure. Thank you.